so it may not have a lot of acceleration, but it does get to a pretty good top speed of about 20 miles per hour. So this is a full suspension electric bike, and finding something like that for under $1,000 just isn't possible. So perhaps the coolest things about this bike are that it is a full suspension bike. You have, of course, the front suspension, the rear suspension. Now this rear suspension, it looks like it's supposed to be an air suspension, but it actually is more of a spring suspension, and they just put this plastic cover on here to make it look like it's, you know, something maybe nicer than it is. And then the front suspension is a spring fork, and it's a pretty cheap one, but it does come with a lockout, so that's a bonus. The suspension's a little clunky. You do a little bit of hops and stuff, but you okay? All right, good. And then, as we said, it's a folding electric bike, and it does have a nice little locking mechanism here that you're going to find on any folding bike, and it is plastic. Now, these are 26-inch by 1.95-inch wheels or tires, and this version of the rim is magnesium alloy. Personally, I probably would have went the spokes. It does come with a quick release, which is always nice. Now this is a 350 watt rear hub motor. Now for the uninitiated, this is a pretty low wattage motor that you typically find in the more lower end price points. It does just fine for your everyday stuff, but if you're going to go up any mountains, it's just not going to do what you need. 21 speed drivetrain. It's a Shimano Tourney TZ. 160 millimeter mechanical disc brakes. Taking a look at the handlebars and everything that comes on there. It is a 25-inch wide handlebar set, and it comes equipped with a lovely digital screen, which I actually am fond of. And we have our little controller here, which works quite well. You can just go up and down for different speeds with a speedometer and the battery. So we have a palm rest grip here. This is kind of a rubbery, cheap plastic feel that I personally am not a fan of. And I'm also not a fan of the twist throttle. I kind of added my own little thing here that I was going to show in a different video. And we have a little horn. Ooh, that's loud. These brake handles, brake levers, are pretty large, and they feel like they might be steel. And we have our Shimano shifters. Some call them mouse ear shifters. This seat actually is quite comfortable. I don't mind it at all, and you know, it's perfectly fine if you don't want to switch it out. The pedals, I do have a problem with. This is some cheap plastic. Yeah, I guess if you were just riding in the city going from point A to point B, it wouldn't be a problem. But for anything other than that, I would throw these out. Now that we've checked out some of the specs, let's take it out for a ride. be honest with you, I think it's a great bike, but only if you need a folding bike. If you don't need a folding electric bike, I would suggest maybe looking at a different one. Maybe perhaps the M-Shear Blue Spark is actually cheaper and a solid bike, so you may get a lot more out of it. Now when I say you don't need a folding bike, probably the biggest reason that I could find is actually the folding mechanism is a little bulky around the edges. And when you're riding, especially if you've got big knees or long legs, you may end up actually hitting them. And if you're doing any kind of aggressive riding, like maybe one of these jumps or something, you may actually hurt yourself. So something you have to be aware of when you're riding. That being said, another point to add to that is that the folding mechanism, the plastic part, is not metal. So it also makes me wonder how strong that fold is. So if you're going to do any kind of big jumps, I would probably steer clear of that. Another thing about this bike is that the motor, even though it's 350 watts, which really isn't a big problem for me, to be honest with you, but it doesn't necessarily accelerate really fast, and it makes this spooling sound whenever it's trying to turn on. It's a little louder than some of my other electric bikes that I have now. Lastly, the handlebars. It's only 25 inches wide, which doesn't give you that wide grip, and I also don't like the twist throttle. So it's a great all-around bike. It's got a lot of great things going for it, like the full suspension and the fold if you need it. If you don't need any of those things, don't get it. And if you do need the fold, do get it, and I think you'll be happy. Now, if you bought one of these bikes, let me know in the comments about what you think. And if you haven't bought one, let me know what you think of the video, and if this is something you might be interested in. And write it down in the comments. Like and subscribe if you like the video, and hopefully I'll do another one. I'd like to do one about modifying the bike, maybe doing some upgrades. So check me out, and we'll see you later.